Welcome back to another episode of Under the Influence. This is season 5, episode
22.
22. I don't know about you, but I'm feeling
Episode 22.
Under the Influence of Jesus. Boom.
When you put them together, they cover each other up, and it just becomes a 2.
Yeah,
Whoa.
you merge them and we're starting the season over, baby.
Yeah, we're at episode 2. We're so glad to have you here with us. We appreciate you sticking through the whole season so far. I mean, if you're coming back, I mean, that's pretty great. I can't believe it that you have. If you're just finding the episode for the first, or finding the podcast for the first time, let us know how you found it. Leave us a comment down below if you enjoyed the episode. We've got hopefully an interesting episode for you today. We're going to react to some clips and talk about a cool story involving Forrest Frank. We got some reaction stuff that Shibs has prepared for us and a couple other things. But before we get started, let's go ahead and jump right in. Actually, first, we should mention, since the season is coming to an end, you're getting closer and closer to the last chance you're going to have to get a sweatshirt, a Season 5 Under the Influence exclusive sweatshirt. A couple people bought some recently. Pretty cool of them. But yeah, those sweatshirts are on christianinfluence.net. Go to the little shop tab and you can get one of those. If you scroll down, you'll see Under the Influence Season 5 hoodies. They're pretty awesome. I think they're super comfy. I should have worn it today. I was going to wear it for the next episodes and I forgot. So we'll have to wear it for another one in the future. But whatever.
Shame.
Bummer. Because we always talk about it and we haven't worn them since like episode 5.
I hope it's cool enough on the finale.
That's true. It's been hot. It's been hot lately.
They're great hoodies. I'll wear it and be
Sweaty?
so sweaty, but I'll do it.
I don't want to ruin
the
it with
finale's
the amount of sweat.
Usually a longer episode too.
Yeah.
We're going to be sitting there for 2
Well, we could take them off during the episode.
3 hours just sweating.
4
You're like, man,
hours.
I didn't realize you got the dark green one, Jarrett. Oh, that's
Wring
great
it
though.
out at the
Right
end.
before the final weigh-in for the weight loss update, just sweat it out.
Sweat it out.
So wear a
That's
garbage
the
bag.
punishment. We have to wring out all of the ones, and then the loser has to drink it.
Yeah. Wear a garbage bag and then wear what?
We all wear the sweatshirts and sweat the entire episode,
What
and
is
then
wrong
we
with
wring
you?
it out at the end.
What is wrong with you?
It's just
This is bad, but I was not listening to you. You know, I was like so ready to say the thing that like it wasn't processing. And then as I started talking, my brain caught up, you know, and I was like, oh gosh.
I was wondering why you
drink
were
your
letting him
sweat
get
over
away
there.
with that.
I was wondering why you were letting him get away with that.
salty.
Dude, recently on the Discord, we ran a cool contest where people were able to answer trivia questions for Of Lore and Legend, and then depending on how many answers they got right, they got entries into a contest to play D&D official Of Lore and Legend, like in world, with some of us, and it's going to be recorded and be a bonus Of Lore and Legend episode. It's super cool. We're going to do more of that in the future. So if you out there listening to this podcast right now are an Of Lore and Legend fan, and you're not in the Discord, man, you should be, because we're going to do more stuff like that. It's pretty cool. Sorry, go ahead, Chibs.
Are employees of Christian Influence eligible for this contest?
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to enter, Chibs?
Under multiple names.
Well, the problem is the entries required correct trivia answers based on our show.
And if you don't listen to our show,
Yeah.
you don't know.
But that contest is already done. We're going to do another one in the future. But we've already determined 2 winners. Shackled Dragon and Richie Souza. They're going to play with us. It's going to be a ton of fun, and we'll do that soon.
Get to binge watching, Shibbles.
Yeah, you better get watching. These ones were pretty easy. They were like things that you could know from just the first 2 episodes. But in the future, I'll probably pick more difficult ones. What was funny is we had a secret question. I was like, okay, if anybody gets all 4 right, they get 4 entries. And then I'll give them a secret bonus question for a possible 5th, but it needs to be harder. And Levi and I talked about it, and he came up with
one of the bonus clips, like, why didn't Lexi have Levi's birthday written down?
that would have been way better.
It was what is the name of Lumen's race?
Which was said
It
once.
said one time.
I think it's one
ever.
time in any recording.
It was way too hard. I was like, that seems too hard, but I can't think of anything better. That could be fun. And the two people that got all four and then were asked that question were like, I literally have no idea. And there are people that I know have listened all the way up to current.
Not big enough fans.
So I'll say it here.
Is he Mothra?
No, they're called the Skoros.
Skoros.
Skorros, the Skoros. People that are listening to this that don't listen to Floor Legend are like, dude, this is so lame. Another little thing I'll say real quick. I was talking to Perry about this. You know how people that have like D&D content and stuff will make stuff like a PDF with bonus content to the game that's from their world or whatever and sell it? Raise some money for Christian Influence. We got a couple custom things in our game, like Matt's subclass and the Skoros race. It's got some unique stuff. We could make a little like $2, $3 PDF and people could buy it if they wanted.
Titus may have created some things in a future episode.
That's like...
Yeah, he did. Pretty cool. So I was thinking maybe in the future we'll do like some of Lore and Legend packets or something, PDFs that people could spend like a couple bucks on. Like I'm not going to charge them an arm and a leg, but it technically would raise some money for Christian Influence.
Look out for that in the future, though, because they're pretty sweet.
They are pretty sweet. They are pretty sweet. All right, we've got an icebreaker clip we're going to watch. Shibs has prepared for us this little reaction. Let's see it. Oh, is this
All right, so
Wed Buff?
yeah, a quick little setup here. You guys know my one of my favorite warriors for Christ is Wes Huff. And I came across this little short here, and I thought it was pretty cool, so I wanted you guys to react to it.
Yeah, okay.
Wes Buff is
Wes
pretty
Buff. Okay. Wes Huff is a weeb?
Apparently.
Sweet.
It was pretty sweet.
You don't remember seeing him in 300 Ronin?
300 Ronin. Just mixed two movies. That movie name.
Wasn't that a movie? Wasn't it 300
47
Ronin? Or was it just 47?
It's
Yeah.
47. There's a movie called 300.
Didn't you see him in 47 Ronin?
You want me to just cut that?
I thought that was awesome because if you grew up in the 80s, you were raised on ninjas.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
dude.
yeah.
Dude,
Yeah, but they were all turtles.
were we not?
Everybody's parents were ninjas. You're all raised by ninjas.
Dude, I was doing stuff like that with swords, too.
Oh,
you
sure,
don't have to have been raised in the 80s. What are you talking about?
You should see what I can do
you
with.
ki-
No. I'm
Keeping
talking about
ninjas?
ninja movies. You were raised
yeah,
on ninja movies.
I guess.
You should see what I could do with a pair of nunchucks.
Nothing.
No,
You can hurt yourself.
I do a lot of damage, but it's all to myself.
That's pretty cool, Wes Huff. Nice job. I mean,
I'm just, so proud that he posted it. you know?
yeah, because it's okay. Don't hear what I'm not saying, but it is a little cringe in the best ways. Like, there's a lot of people that would see some. It's not cringe because it's Wes Huff. Wes Huff makes it not cringe because he's just cool already.
Would it be cringy if I did it?
Yeah. Totally.
I guess we'll find out. Stay tuned.
We just play a clip.
This is not a joke that's gonna die. You're doing that.
Okay.
We can't let that. Hey Siri, set a reminder in my phone. Set a reminder in my phone to make Jarrett do the sword fight clip.
We're going to have to dull that blade and bubble wrap it.
I'll use a pool noodle.
A pool noodle. And you'll practice with a pool noodle, but then you'll go to a real sword and be like, oh no, this thing doesn't flip flop like the pool noodle does.
Go to a real sword.
Yep.
Get the katana.
Or if he uses a pool noodle, then he could use those weird Indian blades that are just all.
When
the entire
I do
time.
this and inevitably lop off a limb, that counts towards the weight loss program, right?
Yeah.
As long as you do
So
it
we'll just
before
make sure
the
you do
end.
it after the season's over.
Okay, cool.
My dad has a replica sword. Oh, which one is it? It's from Lord of the Rings. It's not. I don't know, but it's really sharp. Most replica blades are not, but this one
Well, he
It's
spent like 16 hours just sharpening
my
it.
dad,
just sitting on
over
the couch.
a real like grindstone.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was with all the urukai behind him. You know that scene where they're like being birthed.
Just watching The Mentalist, just shaving it down.
Yeah. My dad does love The Mentalist. So do I. It's a great show. Him and Jenna, my youngest sister, they got a dog and literally named it PJ after the main character from The Mentalist, Patrick Jane. So Wes Huff, dude, that was impressive. Pretty cool. Wes Huff rocks.
Welcome back to season 5, episode 22.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, my sister and my dad have a dog named PJ, short for Patrick Jane from The Mentalist.
That show's so funny. We should bring up some clips.
We should sometime.
Yeah, we should.
You know, I think I'll curate and find some good ones sometime
Oh, that sounds like a lovely idea.
and then put them up on screen for us to watch.
That's a great idea.
Because he's, dude, Patrick Jane is chaotic.
he is quite the character.
So he is a character in a show. He's not real.
Yeah, he's a fake guy.
I mean, yeah.
He's a character.
Not a real person.
Speaking of real people, though, have you guys heard of Forrest Frank?
No.
I have not.
Which I find crazy that you have not heard of this guy. Because
Call me crazy.
What? Okay, of all of us that wouldn't, I guess that makes sense. But like Jarrett, you know, you're on the TikToks, you know. You're sliding around in there. Swipe is the word. Swiping around and sliding around in TikTok. I love these. They're so fun. Woo! You swipe around on the TikToks, right?
I do.
Yeah.
I do.
And so it surprises me, you know. So he's a pretty big Christian artist right now. He's been like, I think, growing in that like sphere of influence over the last couple of years, but lately really exploded. Some crazy things happen. And honestly, when I was like putting this segment in the show doc for us to talk about it, I was like, man, I'm probably just going to be bringing up something that they already know everything about. And we're just going to be talking about it. But it's cooler that you guys not only have not heard of this situation, more than likely it seems like, but barely even know who the guy is or don't at all. So Forrest Frank got pretty popular for a song, Your Way Is Better or something like that. It plays on the radio all the time now. A few other things, but like, yeah, he's just he's kind of like this generation of music that's coming up, kind of like the TikTok-y style, like not mumble rap. There's got to be something. Because remember when mumble rap was big?
Yeah.
Like,
That was really good.
Thank you. Yeah. I said like 30 words right
Yeah.
there. Now there's this kind of like, I don't want to say nasally. I don't know how to explain it. But like it's a thing and it's a lot of music right now. And it's just got kind of like this sound. And he's really good at it. It's very catchy. It's very, I think they call it vibey. It's very vibes. That kind of music. And I'm going to admit it. I like most of it.
You would laugh at that, Levi.
I like most of it. No, it's pretty good. His music's pretty good. Levi would not like it, I think.
It's because Levi doesn't vibe.
It's because Levi doesn't vibe. It's just not vibing.
It's not vibing.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah. No, because I think Levi just doesn't like this sort of music, I would imagine. It's too happy. Just kidding. But that is how his music is often described. It's like this very happy, like, he's just so. I watched a Ruslan video. It was talking about him, like, dude, you just Forrest Frank, everything he does, like, he's just so smiley, like, so happy. He's really honest and down to earth. That just seems to be his style, right? But recently, he had a bit of an accident. So I've put the clips in the show doc, Shibs, in order, and then we'll make some points, and then I can call on him or whatever. But this first one, I want you to see. So the briefest backstory about him, I've already kind of said, right? He's a Christian music artist. He's getting bigger and bigger on TikTok, all over the place. His song "Your Way Is Better" has like 75 million plays on Spotify, right? So he's got some sway, you know, in the some swagger in the Christian music biz now. But what's really cool is he just does stuff, right? And he seems to have a real talent for making music because, especially as we'll talk about in a second, he just like will have an idea and it'll be like a week. He's got a song, it's out. Like he just makes music and just releases it. And it's usually pretty good. But this, I want you to see something that happened to him recently, and this clip will show it.
Unmute it.
What's up, gang? Fractured the vertebrae. Here's the video.
Oh my goodness. It's so sad too, this kid.
Ouch.
Ow.
What happened? Did you hit your head?
No.
You're okay.
You're okay.
Sorry, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Okay, hang on. Wait, yeah.
I helped him.
My back really hurts.
Hey, buddy, come here.
This is the song that really put him on the map, I think. That like, I'm about to have a good day no matter what they say. It went super viral on TikTok, and then his next one, Your Way's Better, unless that's the same song. I can't tell. A lot of them are very similar. But yeah, that happened to him recently, and I think it was about a month ago at this point. And I saw like when that TikTok like went viral or whatever of him talking about his broken back, and it was a big deal because then there were some update videos, and I didn't grab them all, but they were just showing like the x-rays and stuff, and I don't know the technical terms, but there was like two spots, right? Two of his vertebrae that were badly broken. And actually I did grab a video for us to watch last that shows off the x-rays, and it's a serious deal. So the thing I wanted to talk about this is like, that was it. Like, dude, no. Christian artist, he's getting really, really big. Apparently he had just started buying a bunch of brand new equipment. So I think he said something about like he took a big detox on social media for a while, spending a lot of time in prayer. And he was preparing to do like, you know what? I'm going to document a bunch more of like my music making process. Like, how can I glorify God with more of what I'm doing? The talent that I have that I'm giving back to him, how can I glorify God with more of it? This is what I understand. So he just bought a ton of expensive equipment. He was setting up this whole area in his studio. And then he was skateboarding with his son, broke his back, bedridden, right? But what's cool is like, I'm sure this guy had his downs, like his moments, but his whole thing is he's very positive, right? And he goes to the Lord. And while his back is broken, he ends up making a song called like God's Got My Back or something, right? Like playing off of what happened. And there's a video, and I don't think I included this one, but because there's just so many about this whole situation, but there's a video where he's like laying in bed, and it's maybe a week after he broke his back or something. And no, I think it's like 4 days after he posted that, but I think it's like a week after he broke his back. And it's him laying there like, hey, I'm bedridden. What am I going to do? Well, I'm still going to make some music. So he's got like his MacBook in front of him, and he's got his, microphone, and he's recording this like, God's got my back, blah, blah, blah song. And he ends up releasing it, and it also is huge, and it's like really cool. So already, like the whole point was, as he's broken his back, he's laying there in bed, he's still trying to make music. He's seeing like God using this time still for good. And he's just kind of focusing on that. So he's like talking about that in his content a lot. But something I think really, really cool happened, something crazy. And this is the thing I want to focus on, because while he's laying there broken, he makes this song and he posts this TikTok of him making it. And the caption to that is making lemons into lemonade, right? Just kind of quoting that little adage, right? Like, oh yeah, making the most of this terrible situation. Like my back is totally broken. The prognosis or whatever they call it, like basically his recovery is supposed to minimum be 3 months. Because like you break your back like that, right?
Yeah.
It's, I guess, on the lower
It could have
end.
been worse.
Oh yeah. Like there's some doctors that I've seen talk about this that are like, dude, 3 months is like the best case scenario. You're a very healthy individual, which he is. And 3 months, like being fully back at it would be pretty crazy. 6 months makes more sense. Some people never fully recover from these things, right? So he's, and this just happened like a month ago. So, he's like talking about how trying to make the most, like God is making the most out of this bad situation, making lemons into lemonade. So he posts that, and the next day, this small band named the Figs post a video that, in my opinion, there's no way I don't think it's possible that they saw his video before this, because it's the next day. And like they make a full song And they do these guys named the Figs, cool artist. I think you might like them. They are a small band, and they like have been doing this series on their TikTok where they will be like, hey, let's make a song like this person. And so the joke is that like they have figured out, you know, the formula to make an Ozzy Osbourne song or like a whatever song. They have a few of them. But they do this about Forrest Frank because Forrest Frank is popular. I don't think they did it in response to the video he posted the day before. I think that'd be crazy if they had enough time to make the song. They record a short music video and all this stuff, right? But technically it does come out afterward. But the song, we're going to watch the clip. I want you to hear, like, it's crazy. And Forrest Frank will point it out. It's crazy because there's just so many crazy little coincidence sort of things that happen in this story with Forrest Frank. And this is one of them. Not coincidences.
To write a Forrest Frank song.
All right, here we
Step
go.
1, mega catchy, tight range.
So this is him reacting to it.
Oh, I've seen
Step
these
2
guys.
switches it up a
Yeah?
lot. They usually electric guitar,
They got
keys,
popular
big
because of
drums,
this,
and
which
little
is cool.
sound effects.
So it's jokingly kind of a diss
Step
too,
3,
because they're
Jesus
like,
and vibes.
The love of God
Yep.
has got me clean.
Fair enough.
Old Spice.
And that's all we got. We're the Figs. Follow and comment who we should do next time. We do not make music like this.
But we gave it a go. The love of God has got me clean. Old Spice, the world that got me.
so they made a Forrest Frank song. It sounds so,
But
not
now
bad.
I'm out here feeling free. Won't lie.
and he's in bed, you know, broken.
Life gave me some lemons, but my Jesus, he be making lemonade. Lemonade. My Jesus making lemonade. Lemonade. All of my worries fade away. Lemonade. It's gonna be okay. Life gave me some lemons, but my Jesus,
I think it's funny.
making lemonade.
I gotta pause that. What's crazy about that, as many of you know, I just broke my back, and on the caption on my post like 2 days ago or 3 days ago, I said making lemonade out of lemons or something like that. So this is weirdly in sync. I really only have 2 issues with the song. 1, why haven't you sent me a verse yet? And 2, why is it not out yet?
So I think that's really cool. You know, like he points it out. It's like, dude, like it's not that like, it's a pretty common thing, and it makes sense. Like they're going to make a song about like Jesus making things beautiful. Like that's a clever idea, but it is crazy that, you know, he posts this. There's a caption that says that because this bad thing going on in his life. I don't think it's likely that they saw that and then made the song. I think more than likely they're doing this little bit, making a song about like trying to make a Forrest Frank song, and that happens. But these guys, so he sees this, right? And he tags them in that, trying to get their attention. He says like, send me a verse. Like, I want to make the song with you. And these guys, like small band, small like reach and all that. Before you know it, are in contact with Forrest Frank, who's right now probably the #1 Christian artist. Like he's huge, and he's bedridden. And he like records a verse on that song, or I think he records like the part that's supposed to be the Forrest Frank part, and then they record a verse on it too. And so they make this song together. And dude, it's so cool because these guys who are like real small time band, I think when the song is finished, because he's like finishing it up, and they do this in like a week. They're camp counselors at a camp. I should have pulled this video up for you guys, because when the day they release the song and it becomes available, there's like this, looks like a talent show or something like at their camp with all these kids. And these 2 guys are standing up there and they're like, all right, you guys, you all saw the TikToks where Forrest Frank called us out. We've been talking to him. And then all the kids are like, whoa, you know, like their camp counselors are talking to like the cool Christian artists of the time. And then they're like, and we recorded the song. And then the kids are like, ah! And then they're like, and it's out right now. We're going to play it. And they just play it for like all these kids. It's such a cool reveal because all these kids are like just dancing and freaking out. But before you know it, so they released the song, and this is all happens like basically as a result of him breaking his back. So it's really cool to see how God is using this. The song goes #1. And so you'll see up there, it's not just like #1 on Christian, like the Christian charts though. Like there's a video Forrest Frank talks about this. He's like, dude, the song went #1 on all genres. Like, I think that's crazy. Like a Christian song about God, like making things beautiful out of the bad, #1 on all genres. Like there's some explicit songs up there. Like if you zoom in on that, Ships, I think obviously this is right around when Ozzy Osbourne died, so Crazy Train's up there right now.
Yeah.
But like, so just so we can see, they're not Christian songs, right? So like Crazy Train by Ozzy Osbourne, not a Christian song. The Subway by Chappell Roan, she is not a Christian artist. Like all of these, and that the whole Ozzy Osbourne thing, like that's actually saying something, because him dying, like his music would have been way like it's on all a bunch of these songs on this chart are Ozzy Osbourne songs, but this song by Forrest Frank is #1. I don't know how long it was #1, but it's just cool to see that like this Christian artist. And the thing that I think is so cool is like these guys like got a chance to do something huge. But so yeah, the Figs post this video where they're like jokingly make the song with Forrest Frank. Like they get to actually make the song. It goes mega viral. It's really cool. It's cool to see. This has been happening a lot with Forrest Frank songs. Like they're regularly hitting the top of the charts as Christian music. And so a lot of people are saying, there's a lot of things going on in the world that point to this, but they're like, oh, is there a revival, right? And I don't really know. Like we've talked about that with Gen Z, but I think Forrest Frank, it is a cool sign of those times, right? That like we've been seeing the Gen Z thing with church, going back to church. Forrest Frank is Gen Z, just like us. He's making music that people love. It's clearly Christian music. Like all of his music clearly has a Christian message. And he breaks his back. It's really sad. And there's some really hard videos on his channel of like him and his wife trying to do the PT stuff, and it just looks horrifying. Like the poor guy, it might be in for like a brief second in one of the videos I have for us, but like he's just crying. Like he's in so much pain trying to stand up. But yeah, so debilitating back injury, and then the whole theme of his content from that point forward. And I need to pull this verse up. Basically, from that point forward, he's talking about like the making lemons into lemonade thing, right? How Jesus is doing that. Like there's all these cool things that have been happening because he broke his back. And I just wanted to look at Romans 8:28 real quick. It's an obvious verse to reference during this, but this had essentially been the theme of his content on his TikTok and his YouTube and like his music because of this situation. And I think this is indicative of like how we should be as believers, right? Bad things happen. How do we react? Like we're going to be talking about this at youth group on Sunday, actually. Jesus, he tells the disciples, hey, the temple's going to be destroyed. He's like, bad things are going to happen. It's not like Jesus shies away from the fact that terrible, bad circumstances may befall you, right? And he even tells them like relationally, like you guys will be persecuted, dragged in front of, like as prisoners, dragged in front of people, but the Holy Spirit will speak through you. Like he doesn't avoid that or shy away from that, but he tells us how to live during that. Like that's the whole point, right? To focus on him. And so I think it's cool to see like this on display, this guy that God allows to become really popular within the Christian music space. He's an outspoken believer and he has a terrible thing happen to him, like a debilitating back injury that should put him out for a long time, or he may never recover. And then God is doing incredible things through that. And he is responding, it looks like in the public eye, responding in the right way, right? Romans 8:28 says, and we know that all things work together for good to those who love God, to those who are the called according to his purpose. It's not the version I would usually use because I was listening. I wish they had an audio Bible for the NET, so I have to switch, but that's okay.
Updated too fast.
Yes. The ever-changing word of the NET. Just kidding. In the same way, nope, this is the wrong one. 28. Yeah. 8:28. And we know that all things work together for good for those who love God, who are called according to his purpose. Essentially, like that has been the theme of this guy, right, lately. And I think that was the encouragement I got out of it. If I were to end the story here, the point would be like, dude, and this would be a perfectly good end to the story. Like God to allow a bad thing to happen to Forrest, right? This trial of fire. And he's, I think, reacting to it well. He's doing some really cool things. He made a great song about it that's focusing on God. That's great. A demonstration of Romans 8:28 in that. And then this cool thing happens with the figs. It's like, that just looks like God orchestrated it with this lemonade thing. It's such a funny thing. And so it's just like really cool for these figs guys because they're like growing out of it. And I saw a video. Well, I'll get to that later. But
like, look at all the cool stuff that happens when you exhort each other.
Yes, like Hebrews 3:13 says.
Yeah. To exhort each other each day as long as it's called today, so that we do not become hardened by sin's deception.
That's a great point. Like all the people encouraging Forrest, but then Forrest being like, hey, I'm broken right now. Like from a human perspective, in this really bad thing happening, it'd be really easy to get selfish. I'd be like, I'm just going to do stuff for me right now. But he takes an opportunity to be like, hey, let's make that song with you guys. And it like platforms them. It's really cool. So it would be, in my opinion, a satisfactory ending to this very cool story of God making things good for those who love him and making lemons into lemonade, But check out this video. Because it doesn't end there. It gets worse. No.
Guys. Do you want to tell them? What do you mean? I'll tell them. Guys.
Sweet mustache.
So I broke my back exactly 2 weeks ago. Is today day 14?
Oh.
Got an x-ray and a CAT scan. It showed that I had multiple fractures. Could not move an inch without excruciating pain. I wake up today.
That's like a glimpse of that one video. That video is hard to watch.
Brace, just start doing the morning. I pick Bodie up, and then I realize, wait, I'm not wearing my brace. What is going on? I'm wearing my brace right now for precaution. Order an urgent x-ray, go get the x-ray. I have complete healing in my back. I have no fractures in my back. No sign of a fracture in my back. So, praise God. We saw a miracle.
So, okay, you didn't have to kiss us for us. That was a little weird.
I got like goosebumps.
Yeah.
That's wild.
And he has not been shy about this. Like, he is showing proof. And the dude in 2 weeks. So I watched Ruslan talk about this, and I watched another guy talk about it that was like, is a doctor. And there's tons of people that are coming out, of course, in the comments section. They're like, I'm a nurse. Who knows? Maybe they're lying. But people that are online talking about this are like, dude, that should not have happened. So some people have said like, okay, because Forrest is really granola, I guess. Like he's super like everything organic, like all that kind of stuff. They're like, okay, maybe it just means like he's unlocked some power in our bodies that when we are using, there's maybe some truth to the fact that like when you're not putting toxic crap in your body, it probably does work better at like what God has designed it to do. But I saw someone say that, and this doctor in response was like, sure. Like maybe there's some truth to that. Like the things in your body when there's not toxic chemicals running through, and like maybe this guy does a great job of eating just the right natural stuff and all that. Like it seems like he's kind of that kind of person, which is cool. But that would more than likely put him on like the 3 out of the 3 to 6.
Yeah.
Like he's got an exceptional healing, like ability to heal in his body. But 2 weeks. So he goes in, gets this emergency or like urgent x-ray, like he says, and watch this next video just to show like he shows the original x-rays in this next video, because a lot of people are like, okay, so he's faking it. Like he's faking it, didn't really break his back, just saying that so he can say that his God did a miracle. But like, it's so cool. Like this shows the x-ray of the original break, not the healing one, but.
Okay, I finally got it. I'm in this program. I am not a radiologist. If you are, or you know somebody, comment them.
So of course, a bunch of people in the comments of this video
Here's my back.
are like,
I'm just guessing right here. So look at these two right here. They're smooth, right? Nice and smooth. You go to L3, and it appears that is a pretty significant crack or fracture. So I'm gonna go back and forth a little bit. Make sure y'all can see that. You can pause it if you need to. Let me go to this other view.
Yeah, this one really shows it. Smooth.
Here's 3.
There.
Boom.
Like that's broken.
Big.
And look at the comparison.
Yeah. That looks clean. That looks fractured. I think that's that right there.
Yeah.
Right? They're complete. Look at that. Boom.
Yeah.
Did we see a miracle? Was it just insane?
Because that's what he got
recovery?
from the ER. You know, it said L2 and L3 transverse. So a ton of people, especially after this video, were like, that is way worse than I thought too, from just what you were saying. Like that's a real break. People are like, some people don't ever recover from that. So he's a really healthy young guy. Like, okay, he had the best chance of recovery, but in 2 weeks to go back in the x-ray to be like, dude, you're 100% healed. Like that is crazy. And I didn't prepare this video for us, but there's a video of him. It's like not even a month after this. It allowed him to like go back and still do some of his concerts he had already planned and sold. Because one of the sad things I had considered when it got announced that he broke his back was like, dude, Like, he'll be okay I'm sure, from a money perspective. But like all those people that spent money on tickets, I was like, he'll probably refund them. But like, he's not going to get to do his concert. Like, there's tons of people, probably a ton of kids too, that like are excited to go see this guy in concert. He breaks his back, they're not going to be able to. Like, that's sad. I don't think he missed any of his concerts. And there's a video where he goes and he's performing, and it's like not even a month after he broke his back, and he's jumping around on stage singing perfectly fine. And then they do the Lemonade song, and he brings the figs out in front of his huge crowd. And it's so cool. Like, these two guys, they're like, I don't know, from wherever, like small band, they're jumping up on stage, like throwing lemonade in the air, you know, singing the song they made with Forrest Frank. I think it'd be cooler if you guys had known who he was before, so you kind of understand how big of a guy this is. Like, but for those two guys, like the Figs, huge deal. You know, I think equivalent for us, like making this podcast, it'd be like if George Janko broke his back. We did a reaction video talking about like, oh, it's so sad, but he's making the most of it. And then he's like, hey, you guys want to do a show together? Like, that would be crazy. Yeah. Right? Like, we would be that. Like, that's one of the biggest Christian podcasters out there right now. And so yeah, there's just like so many facets to it. Like, God is just making something so cool out of something really awful, like the way he broke his back. And you know, I think we should highlight those. When I saw this, I was like, oh, we should highlight this on the podcast as like an example of how to respond to terrible circumstances in our lives. But then it just got way cooler because like I saw the video where he's like, well, 2 weeks later, I'm perfectly fine. Like,
it'd be nice to put some content in there that's just not blatantly trying to discredit God also. So
what do you mean?
All the people that are like, oh, he's faking it. Like, none of that's real. Like,
I thought you were saying he was doing that.
It's like, because he eats granola. Like,
because he eats granola? It's because he eats those Nature Valley bars. He's just...
Nature Valley bars are pretty good.
They're pretty good because most of them are not actually that healthy. They're healthier than a candy bar, but they're still... They're delicious.
You mean the one that breaks and shatters into...
I think those ones are better.
Pieces?
But like the ones that they make that have chocolate and stuff in them.
Oh, but like those ones are like honey in there.
Dude, those are a nightmare. Yeah, honey's not bad for you.
Well, sure, but it's also...
Honey lasts literally forever. Doesn't go bad.
Yeah, it's antimicrobial.
Yeah, well, but like if you're going to have some sugar in something, like honey is the better option.
We talked about, like at one point, we were like, dude, we're done dealing with infections. So let's just put my aunt in an entire bath of honey.
Of honey?
Yeah, because it's not only antimicrobial, but it also promotes healing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's delicious.
You should try using honey for your coffee
anymore. She's just like hungry and...
Yeah. You should try honey for your coffee instead of sweet tea.
Make coffee out of honey?
If you have allergies, you should always look for local honey.
Yeah.
Because it has something in it about the pollens in the area. Yeah.
I've heard that.
So it helps your allergies against those pollens.
Yeah. I find them out of their hive and just whatever's closest to the house.
Yeah, you just...
Yeah.
Like, I got my morning tea.
Real Winnie the
Pooh. Real Winnie the Pooh. I'm just imagining Jarrett stuck in a tree, you know,
only wearing a shirt.
No, I'm not imagining that.
That's what Winnie the Pooh wears.
Yeah, but
he only wears a short red T-shirt.
But he's a stuffed animal. Chris is barfing out there right now. I'm seeing projectile vomit from Shivs all over the brand new equipment. Okay.
Who's Piglet?
Who in our friend group? Yeah, that's right, because they're all
you
like
have a
this.
new nickname now.
Yeah,
you are Jarrett the Pooh.
Jarrett the Pooh? It doesn't sound like a Winnie the Pooh reference. It just sounds like we're calling him Poop. Jarrett the Pooh. You can call him Winnie.
Winnie.
Just Winnie.
Winnie.
Who in
Winnie
our friend
the
group?
Brown.
All right, let's tier list this or something like Winnie the Brown. Who in our friend group is Piglet? It's like who follows Jared? I figured it out.
It's my wife.
Yeah, your wife is Piglet.
I know where you...
What is going on? Can you share it with the class here? We can cut it. We can cut it.
Seriously, Jerry, Winnie the Brown.
Levi said that.
Yeah.
Oh, you said Winnie the Brown.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you broke me.
What's so funny about Winnie the Brown? His last name is Brown.
Jarrett the Pooh. Winnie the Brown.
Yeah, it's the same thing, right? Okay, so we're just laughing at the more poop joke, right?
Brown Pooh.
Okay, yeah. No, I got that. I just didn't. I forgot to laugh.
All right.
It was so funny. I forgot to laugh.
Yeah, so funny.
So funny.
Levi's Eeyore.
Makes sense.
I lost my tail.
Forrest Frank, dude. That's what we were talking about.
Yeah, that is what we were
super
talking
cool. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts reacting to that whole thing?
No,
I think it's incredible.
Incredible. I like that we get to see,
I'm going to start listening to his music now that I know who he is, too.
You just cut Levi off like that?
Yeah.
No, that's fine.
Just because you're not vibing?
Yeah.
Go ahead. I think Jared's not vibing with us today, man.
Maybe. No, I just
Just make him feel good. Sorry. That was on microphone.
I can hear.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's really cool to see a healing actually happen in somebody that is massively popular and is outspokenly Christian. It's just really cool to see. And showing also like proof of it. Because that's, that is a worse break than I thought it was.
Yeah.
Like,
do you guys, how do you feel about the showing proof thing? Do you think that's disrespectful or wise in a situation like this? Right. So like he's got this very public image, right? A public break, and him going like, hey, here's proof of it. Because I've seen a little bit of internet discourse on this. And something I've heard from some Christians is like, dude, you shouldn't I think they're using the don't ask God for a sign thing. It's disrespectful. Like, don't show proof of it. Don't throw your pearls before swine, because some people are like, it's fake. What do you guys think?
I don't see how it would be an issue at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why not?
Didn't Jesus show proof?
Bingo.
Yeah.
I agree.
He showed proof to Thomas, right?
Yeah, that's true, right?
And the thing about
that's a great point.
Showing proof of the miracle that happened is that people are obviously still not going to listen, but there are going to be those that do now listen more and are able to share it easier rather than just saying, oh, there was this guy that got healed from a thing.
And he's giving credit to God.
Yes. Yeah. I think sometimes maybe a more lazy atheist perspective on Christianity is that we're just blind faith, right? And that like, oh yeah, this guy says like, oh, just believe me. You don't need proof. But like, if you read the Gospels, like so much that's in there is about how the God that we serve, we don't deserve proof. Like we don't just like Thomas doesn't deserve getting that evidence by being like, yeah, God, I doubt you. And then God saying like, yeah, but go ahead. I know you do. And it would have been better if you didn't have to ask, but touch my side. Right. Mm-hmm. Like, so no, I was curious what you guys thought. Cause I agree. I think like Forrest Frank, it's very cool that throughout this, he has been able to also get this evidence to support it. Cause I'll admit at the very beginning, like a part of me, like the little part of me, it was like, really? No, I'm like, no, I shouldn't feel that way. Like, but also even people that claim to be believers, like will lie. And unfortunately it's sad to see like really big name believers, like, or proclaiming believers, people like Benny Hinn that are like doing these fake healings and stuff. And it's gone way farther. Like, do you know who Benny Hinn is? Okay. Benny Hinn is like this faith healer guy. And there's a Mike Winger video on it. I encourage you to watch. It is very long, but dude, if you weren't convinced of Benny Hinn being a liar and a cheat and a charlatan, taking advantage of people and hurting them rather than healing them, that is a great expose. Is that a word for it? Or like exposing documentary? Yeah. Like, and Mike Winger talks about, he's like, I'm not trying to divide the church here. He's like, but we should be calling out wolves in sheep's clothing. And this guy is just trying to get rich and not just like preaching and saying, give me all your money. He's like preaching and saying that, and also calling people up in front of people and like pushing them over, and being like, you are slain in the spirit, wham, thrown on the ground. Be like, you feel better, right? And she's like, I don't really know if good. Go back into the crowd where no one can hear you.
And it's not only that he does all of these things, and it's just awful, the ways that he's impacting a lot of these people's lives and lying to and manipulating so many people and leading all of the people that follow him down horrible paths. He's also going into other countries and starting all of these other ministries on the backbone of what he's been doing. And having other people trying to do the same things that he's been doing.
Yes.
And those ones are also not having good outcomes. And but they're these massive churches that are being started off of these manipulations of people and of scripture and just to make money. And it's
a lot of like that church hurt that people deal with comes from these big churches that are like not churches. That are.
I don't think you should feel bad for having that doubt or questioning about it, because I mean, no one is above sin, right?
Sure.
Like, well, Jesus, but
yeah,
no human on earth is above sin.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, just part of me. And then I was like, well, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt until, you know, like I'm not going to go around. I wasn't going to talk on the podcast and be like, this is like amazing. Like there was no, but then he started showing proof and I thought that was cool. But it was just interesting to see some of the discourse, like some Christians online being like, this is disrespectful. If God healed you, then you should be able to just say that and just leave it at that. You know, and I was like, well, I disagree, because the cool thing that's happening here is like we see this evidenced in the character of Christ. Like he would demonstrate proof even though it like we don't deserve it. But then for the people that are especially maybe not believers, and this guy that maybe they like his music and like, dude, he broke his back. Whoa. Like he called on the name of Jesus and Jesus healed him in 2 weeks. And this is essentially impossible for this to happen. And then like he's showing us proof, like here's the x-ray and he's fine. Like, I guess I haven't seen, maybe there is one out there. I haven't seen an x-ray of like the healed back. So maybe he's out there just dying in pain, faking it. Like, so like there is that possibility. He's like just jumping around on stage like, my back, you know, just like faking it, being like, I'm healed, you know, but that seems pretty unlikely. But maybe there is. I haven't seen it, but maybe there is a video of him showing like, oh no, here's proof that of the x-ray, like my back is healed. Or maybe he's waiting on that so that he can do that. I don't know. But I think it was smart for him to do that, especially given how big of a name he is. And to be like saying this big thing happened. I think there's lots of people that maybe had that gut reaction that like, oh, this famous guy, he's claiming he got healed. So showing that off, I think was really smart. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, I just think we as Christians should never pass up an opportunity to glorify God's name to the world.
Exactly. Yeah, that's true. And I think that that's exactly what he's doing. And so, yeah, that's why I wanted to show you guys that. Like, even if without the healing, I wanted us to look at that. And then when that happened, I was like, we're looking at the whole thing. Because like, without it, what a great example of glorifying God in that dark valley, of using that and seeing God, like glorifying God, giving him the credit for using this as an incredible thing, right? But then beyond that, then also seeing the story end with like this incredible healing. So cool. And then all the things along the way, like it's so cool for the Figs. Like I love an underdog story. And so seeing these guys like make a joke thing that's like, we made a Forrest Frank song, hardy, hardy, har, you know? And then he's like, dude, let's make a real song. Like he's just, I think he's a really generous guy. You know, it shows his character. Like, I think some artists could have seen a video like that and been like, these guys dissed me. Like, which I don't think they mean it that way.
Yeah.
The joke is just that like, whoa, we made a Forrest Frank song. Whoa, you know, and, but no, he's got a good attitude about him. I really like him. So through this, I always kind of secretly liked his music, but I was like, it's too mainstream. It's too like Gen Z, but I like the songs. And, but because of this, I've been more willing to be like, you know what? No, I just like the music. It's good. And I like the guy. I think
I'm going to start listening to his music.
Check it out. It's pretty good.
He might become my favorite Frank.
Yeah, you were saying I probably wouldn't like it, but I think I'm going to be making a playlist. So
really?
Yeah.
Good. Well, then you're going to love this, Chris. Shibs, sorry. I know how much you like Crowder. Did you hear Crowder broke his leg? So this happened recently. Crowder, I don't know how he did it, but he broke his leg. He posted a picture online of like him laying on the bed. You know, he's got like all this wrapping on his leg, and he tagged Forrest Frank in it. He's like, I broke my leg. It's so bad. But man, I wish I looked nearly as graceful as Forrest Frank did when he broke his back, right? So Forrest Frank made a song about like standing on the rock, right? Based on like he's like, hey, I don't know if you want to do the same thing I did, but what if we made a song while your leg is broken? And so it's like the whole point of it is like standing on the rock. Like I may not be able to stand physically, but I'm always standing on the rock. Something like that. Crowder responded. Are you going to look for the clip? Okay, you should. Oh, no. Crowder responded and he made a verse for it. So they're making a song together now.
Oh, that's sweet.
Which is cool because Crowder's a very established, like old school Christian artist. He's been around forever. Like the David Crowder Band. Now it's just Crowder. and he's huge right now too. We've reacted to one of his songs on here, and so yeah, Forrest Frank is gonna. So it's cool that you're saying like, I like his music because I know you like Crowder, and they're gonna do a song together. So it's pretty cool. Yeah, sorry if I dissed you. I didn't mean to by saying I didn't think you'd like the music, because my initial reaction as someone who is technically Gen Z, is sometimes I was like, this music's so Gen Z, man. Like I shouldn't like it, but I do like it. It's really good. For those listening, if you hadn't heard about it, I hope you're encouraged. You know, God miraculously healed this guy, and even if he hadn't, like God was doing incredible things through it, and that should encourage us. And so I'm glad that like it's out there, you know, in the public eye for people to see, Christians and unbelievers alike. But so we are coming to this a little late. The Forrest Frank thing, that's been happening over the last month, so we're coming to that a little late on the show. That's okay. This other thing I wanted to talk about, you know, we've been talking about how Joe Rogan has been having like this, what looks like a journey to faith, right? Mm-hmm. I think we highlighted a few weeks ago, like he's, you know, it was revealed that he's going to church, big deal. No, it sounded like I was being sarcastic. Like, that is a big deal. But he had a guy on his show recently, Chad Wright, who, correct me if I'm wrong, Shibs, ex-Marine, Navy SEAL. Whoa.
Big difference.
Ex-Navy SEAL. And I guess this guy, I know very little about him, but he's a Christian. He's kind of coming into the podcast space lately, the content creation space lately. He's got a YouTube channel called 3 of 7, I think is what it's called.
Yeah, his content, I've seen it a little bit of it before. Really? This. He's military. He likes to go over like, this is my kit. This is what I, cool. You know, when I hike, I carry this. You know, he's very outdoorsy.
Do you know what 3 of 7 means? No, it's not like a military thing? Maybe. Okay. I didn't know what it meant, but
maybe it's a SEAL thing.
Maybe it's a SEAL thing, or maybe it's a Christian thing that I'm not like, maybe it's like the 3rd verse of the 7th chapter of something. I don't know, because he's super outspoken Christian now too. Or like he has been a Christian, but like a lot of his content, he's talking about being a Christian. Actually, part of this interview with him and Rogan, he says something about that. He's like, dude, like lately it seems like all your content is about being a Christian. What?
I was just thinking of him and the Rogan that we know.
Oh, Rogan, yeah, because I said Rogan. Him and Joe, good old Joe. But I've seen a lot of Christian content creators talk about this interview, like Wretched Radio. They talked about like this guy at one point, he kind of walks through the gospel with Joe, which is really cool. And they were like, you know, giving him his flowers, saying like, yeah, this is a great representation of the gospel. You just kind of missed this one thing. And and they're not like criticizing him. They're just saying it's important as Christians we focus on this part. And I've seen a lot of people cover that. I've seen a lot of people cover just like that this guy was on there. But there's one part, I was listening to this and I haven't finished it yet. There's one part that I thought was cool for us, I think, to talk about, because often we talk about how, you know, we believe strongly that God has given us lots of tools in our tool belt to share the gospel. And one of them is the testimony. And we've talked about that with, you know, various people before, but like, I think we've often said something that kind of comes from Chad, which is like our old pastor. Like you don't have a testimony that's like, you were on drugs in prison and now you're a Christian. Well, you don't have a worthless testimony, right? Sometimes as Christians, we're like, I wasn't addicted to crack, so I don't get to say I had a cool, you know, I don't need to share my testimony. But like God gives each of us, God gives each of us a testimony that's Chibs is out there. Just what? Like, because especially I think 90s kids, like, you know, their youth groups would have these guys that are invited to share their story, and it's like scare you straight a little bit, but also be like, wow, God does incredible things. Like this guy was a gangster in prison and now he's a believer, you know, like those stories should still be highlighted. That's incredible. Like we have the story of Paul, right? Like, yeah, like hates Christians, killing them.
Absolutely.
Right? And then is being used for God to share the gospel in this incredible way. But, you know, we should all share our testimony. And I think that, you know, we've talked about like we should destigmatize the idea that like quote unquote normal, bland Christian testimonies don't matter, because they do, right? But in a different way, I wanted to highlight the idea of testimony, because for me, like I do believe that, but sometimes I think like in the space of like trying to be persuasive, when you're talking to an unbeliever and you want them to know the truth of the gospel and to come to believe it, I think it's really easy to just go like, I can only use objective facts. I can't use things anecdotal, right? And so then this thing that I believe that like, oh, the testimony matters, it kind of goes out of my head because I'm like, oh, well, but it's anecdotal. But like, yeah, I believe that testimonies matter. So it's weird. I think in my head, sometimes I just think that they matter to other believers. But then that means that's not congruent with this other statement that I do believe, which is that it's a tool in our toolkit for sharing the gospel. And I think this is a great example. And so this clip highlights, and we'll pause it and talk about a few things here, but there's a few parts of this guy's testimony that I want to highlight, but then it all comes to a cool moment with Joe. And so we'll watch that.
Through this was obviously the experience that the Almighty had chosen to call me out of darkness into the marvelous light of His truth. Open the Bible. I had seen the Bible before. I had, heard it read. I had even read it before in the past, but it was never anything that meant anything. I couldn't understand it. You know what I mean? Like, what the crap is this trying to say to me here?
Right.
I began to read in the book of Matthew, and I began to, for the first time in my life, I realized how all of that applied to me as the hopeless, wicked, ugly, depraved human being that I my mind was awakened to my own state. Like, I didn't realize how ugly and depraved I was. Like when I passed up on my friend and he killed himself, like I didn't think nothing of that. I just had this revelation of who I was and why I so needed something to save me from that.
Can you pause it?
And when I had...
So like this is very anecdotal, right? Mm-hmm. Like he's specifically talking about his experience with God saving him. And we're going to see a really cool thing about it that he highlights. But one of the first things he says here, I mean, he's been talking for a long time. And so it would have been hard for us to react to the whole thing because it's like classic Joe Rogan style. Like this guy's testimony is interwoven into an hour or like 2 hour something long conversation, right? But this clip, he's talking about the moment where he realizes like, okay, I need to actually seek out the truth in scripture. I need to actually give it a shot, right? I'm going to open a Bible and I'm going to read it. I like how he's like beforehand, he's like, I had heard the Bible, read or heard it before, but like, I don't know what this means, and he says it in kind of a funny way. I wanted to highlight 1 Corinthians 2:14. The unbeliever does not receive the things of the Spirit of God, for they are foolishness to him, and he cannot understand them because they're spiritually discerned. Like I think, highlights this, talking about how like beforehand, they're foolishness. Like it is, and the reason I wanted to say that is because earlier in the conversation, he uses the word foolishness. He's like, to me, before I was a believer, I would read these things and it felt like foolishness. The Bible says that it will feel like foolishness. And he even says to Joe, he's like, I mean, in your experience, like you have said that in your career a lot on your podcast. It's foolish to you, right? Or at least it has been. And Joe's like, yeah. I mean, yeah. But, he's just kind of But he doesn't say it's not, I don't think. I haven't seen the whole thing, of course, but there's a point where they're talking about this word specifically, right? And it just made me think of that verse, how like before you earnestly seek God, you will consider it foolishness. The other thing I wanted to highlight here, because he's talking about how like when he earnestly sought God, it was not foolishness, right? God started to reveal to him the truth. There's a passage in Jeremiah 29:13 that I thought of when considering this as well. And I love this verse. When you seek me, some versions will say earnestly, but this one says, when you seek me in prayer and worship, you will find me available to you. If you seek me with all your heart and soul, I will make myself available to you, says the Lord. Then I will reverse your plight and will regather you from all the nations and all the places where I have exiled you, says the Lord. I will bring you back to the place from which I exiled you. So like the context here specifically, right? It's very particular. But this verse, when you seek me in prayer and worship, you will find me available to you if you seek me with all your heart and soul. Like, I think it pairs well with that verse in 1 Corinthians talking about how like for the unbeliever, for the one who is denying God, it is foolishness. But if you do seek me, you will find me available to you. I love that. Like, it's not like God is saying, oh yeah, when you're against me, I don't even want you. He does, because when we seek him earnestly, we find him available. He's there ready and waiting, right? He wants a relationship with us. I really appreciated that. And I wanted to highlight that in what this guy was talking about, how like he mentions that, right? Like it was foolishness, but it is no longer foolishness because God has opened his eyes. But I don't know if you want to say anything about that. If not, Ships can resume.
That revelation, literally by the grace of God making me spiritually alive, able to discern the scriptures. When I had that revelation, I read about Jesus, his life, his death, why he died according to the scriptures, his resurrection, what that means for me. It changed everything. Like literally, I was made a new creature overnight. It's the greatest miracle that God, the Almighty, could ever work, is taking somebody like me who was literally so useless, making me alive, making me a brand new creature, waking up the next day, and being completely changed in how I see the world, how I see myself, how I see the words on these pages, how I see the creator of the cosmos.
You want to pause it? There's just something else I want to highlight there too. 2 Corinthians 5:17 says, so then if anyone is in Christ, he's a new creation. What is old has passed away. Look, what is new has come. I was watching this and I was like, within the context of our podcast, I was thinking about, dude, remember when we talked to Lovato? One of the things I loved about what he said about his testimony was how the moment that he earnestly sought Christ, he said he woke up that next morning. Like he woke up after like being, just falling asleep or whatever he said. I think he went home. He said he fell asleep. He woke up, like he slept a ton, and then like everything looked different. He was like, dude, everything felt different. The world felt different. Things were brighter, and I had joy. Like I felt in a way that I'd never felt before. And then he's like, and I just wanted that to match the outside, to match the inside. So I felt like God was going to get rid of all my dark clothing. Like I just wanted everything to be bright and light. And what I'm really loving about what this guy is saying is he hits on these points. Like it was foolishness, but God opened my eyes, right? Giving God the glory. And then I earnestly sought him and I was different. I think he either just said it or he's about to. He's like, my very desires changed. And I think that just puts on display, like the new creation, right? Like there is a transformative change in you. And that builds up to like why I think it really does matter. And we see on display here why it really does matter to use anecdotal evidence, right? The testimony, because like it's easy to get in our head to like be like very, like trying to be like very studious almost, like, oh yeah, well the only thing that will convince them, the Alex O'Connors, the whatever, like just use the objective like historical evidence and like the Wes Huff stuff. All true. Like we should have some idea of the apologetics, polemics, right? Is the other word? I always get it mixed up. The Peloton? No. But like the defense, the attack, like knowing the historical facts, those things matter. We should be more literate on those things as believers. But I think we can get caught up in it being like, oh, that's the real, like, that's the nerd stuff. So that's all we need. And then forgo what all of us have, which is a personal testimony. And so I just think this clip, and you'll see in a second, some proof that it is worth it.
That's a miracle. Like nothing else that I have experienced in life produced that amount of change.
See, like very personal.
Nearly instantaneously. And I'll never forget walking down into the little platoon hut like the next day after having this revelation of the gospel and what it means for me and who I am. And like, dude, I didn't. It's crazy, man. It literally changed my desires. Like that's the miracle, right? Like how do you change your desire? How do you internally change your desires? Like I had no appetite for pornography anymore. I had no appetite for the foul language that I used. Like I had no appetite for gossip. Like
overnight.
Literally overnight. Like my literal desires were changed. And that was ultimately more so than the whole thing that was going on in the barracks and the guy saying the prayer and this thing leaving. Like that experience of being made a new creature and the realization of what on earth just has happened to me. That was the thing and is the thing that I cling to so tightly. Like nothing else could have produced that type of change in me but the grace of God and the revelation that he's given me of who I am and who he is. And then as you go, this has been from then to now just a long and arduous, sometimes joyful, but process of sanctification, essentially.
I'm really glad he says that.
One of the things that I pray most often is for the Holy Spirit to conform me into the likeness and image of Jesus Christ at all costs.
You pause it?
At all costs.
Sorry, last time before we get
First
to
time I prayed that was hard to pray, man.
Like, I'm glad he brings it up. I think it would have been really easy, because when you say that, then some people are like, okay, like they get the wrong idea, but it's like, then as soon as I pray the prayer or I decide I earnestly seek God, now this would be indicative of like seeking God for what you really want rather than because he's all you want. But like, if I earnestly seek him, then I won't have to deal with these things anymore. Like he mentions pornography. Does that mean that like believers, might not get worn down and be tempted to look at pornography? And then if they are, then they're not a believer? No, that's not true. Like this is just pointing to more like why we need to be surrounded by believers, why we need Hebrews 3:13, right? Like we need to be encouraged so that we are not fooled by the deception of sin. But that doesn't then discredit like what he's saying, the truth of this too, that like the miraculous transformation from from the old man to the new man, right? The old creature dying and the new man being made, like his desires changing. Like perhaps later in this guy's life, I don't know, there has been moments where he has been tempted by the thought of pornography. I don't know. I'm certainly going to say that he has. I don't know if he has. But like, it doesn't discredit that like maybe one day it's all he thought about. And then the next day he's like, I don't even want that, right? Like, I don't want that. Like, I just think it's great. And so he's saying from a very personal example to Joe, like, this is what my experience was with it. Like becoming a Christian, it radically transformed me just like overnight. And then you hear Joe being like, overnight. He's like, yeah, overnight. Like, and crediting that to God, being like, that's a miracle. And when you think about it, like, of course it is. Like, I like that he said, he's like, who can change their desires inside of them? He's like, who can do that? Who can just like look in and be like, oh, I'm going to not want that anymore. And I think that's a really logical way of looking at it too. It's very cool.
You read about Jesus in Isaiah 53. What's it say about him? He was a man of sorrow.
No, this is good.
Well acquainted with grief.
Yeah, he's talking about like it's still going to be hard.
Of Christ. And that process of sanctification is ongoing. Mm-hmm. My understanding of the scriptures is ongoing and progressive, even still to this day, and hopefully to the very day that I depart this tent. It's everything to me, man. Like it's no. It's literally everything to me. Some people say, well, Chad, sometimes don't you have moments of doubt? Well, yeah, I'd be a liar. Think about what I believe.
Yeah.
Like sometimes don't you have moments of doubt? Yeah, I have moments of doubt sometimes. Yeah, for sure, man. But what I realize is that if I could possibly depart from this faith that I have in the Almighty, if I could possibly even depart from that faith, what would I have? I would have nothing. Like what's the point?
This is the fascinating aspect of this that an atheist needs to take into consideration.
Here we go.
What you're talking about had a real result. This belief in faith has had a real transformative result on you as a human being. Now, if there was nothing to this, if this is all nonsense, and there was a method that you could use, just some sort of a way of viewing the world that would instantaneously change the way you see yourself and see everything, wouldn't that method be explored and wouldn't that be taught? Like, if this is the thing that brought you to who you are now, that's a real thing. Regardless of whether or not anybody wants to believe in Jesus Christ or believe in the resurrection or believe in the Gospels, it works.
There we go.
Like that's the thing about Christians, like real Christians, and I've been very fortunate to meet a bunch of them. I had a weird journey in religion myself.
He goes into a long thing after that. But I was watching this like, man, I really want to talk about this because this guy's testimony has some cool things in it. And then I got to the point where Joe Rogan's response, I was like, isn't that cool? Like hearing him be like, he's saying, aside from all the facts, hearing that your life changed, atheists have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Like that's, even if you don't want to believe in the facts, even if you think the facts are bunk, right? He's like, we should still be confounded by the fact that like you believing in this way radically changed your life. Mm-hmm. We should try and figure that out at the very least, right? So it just adds to the pile of like landsliding persuasiveness of the truth of the gospel, right?
Yeah. Like the only other real way of changing somebody's desires that fundamentally is like mind-altering drugs that break people's brains in awful ways.
For it to be
just overnight, all of a sudden they are an incredibly different person.
Yeah.
Which, through Christ, you're not having your mind broken, you're becoming a new creature in him.
You're being made whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
that's a good point.
It's cool to see Joe, being more outspokenly in favor of Christianity. I know that he's like, he's been on this journey and things, and we've seen things, but I've just, it's so cool every time to hear.
And the intellectual honesty, I think, like if someone's really resistant and they're like, it's foolishness to them, right? They're totally resistant to God. They are making it a laughing stock, whatever. When they hear these stories of transformation, they just completely discredit it, or they're not willing to say something as intellectually honest as that, where it's like, they're not going to say, okay, I fundamentally disagree with this. I think it's all bunk, but you had a transformative experience. They're just gonna be like, well, you're fooled. Right. But I think it's cool. Like, let's say in this case, maybe right now at this moment, Joe Rogan, he's not a believer. He's still got his doubts. And he's like, like that guy said, sometimes we all do, but he's like, he's still not willing to go all the way. He doesn't believe it. But I do appreciate that moment of like, well, we should try and figure out why, like a belief system, like a faith radically changing your life like that. He's like, that is miraculous. Like the guy said, it's a miracle. He's like, that does, it gives you some credit, So I just was like, man, it was convicting to me to watch that, because I'm like, I say all the time, I do believe it. Our testimony is a tool in our tool belt. It's one that everyone has. And it doesn't matter to what degree you are educated, right? You could be a brand new Christian. You can be a Christian that's like you're on your deathbed, 80 years a Christian. I don't know, right? You can have varying degrees of education, and God can and does use all of that, right? It shouldn't be thrown to the wayside, right? We should continue to seek understanding in God's word. We should be learning, right? But what's like the universal thing, tool, like in our toolkit that God gives all of us? Like, number one, it is a basic understanding of the gospel, which if you're saved, you should have that, right? And like your testimony, like your firsthand account of how God has changed your life. And this guy's talking about that, and Joe's like, yeah, that's persuasive. I just think that's really cool. I think that's really cool. Should be encouraging to us. Yeah. Or convicting. Like for me, because like I believe that, but then I think often, like so when I'm online talking to people, I've done some like Gamer of Peace stuff where I'm streaming and I'm talking to someone in a game or something like that, and like they are entirely not convinced. And a lot of it is they're claiming, right? Often we've talked about this, but people claim like, oh, it's this fact just doesn't make sense. But if you address it, then they're still not convinced. It's like, well, if I address that and it is persuasive, like it is sound, will you then be convinced and be a Christian? It's like, well, no, right? So it points to a heart issue. I've had a lot of conversations with that, and sometimes I'll just focus on those things, the apologetic stuff, like, well, this actually means this. Well, this is the misunderstanding here. And then when they're run out of facts to be corrected, I'll think, and I'll even say sometimes like, and my life has been radically changed, but I'll just leave it at that. Because sometimes I'm like, well, the thing this person needs is the facts. That's what's going to persuade them, because that's what they're bringing up. Well, I guess it kind of makes sense. Maybe that's not, right? Because if they're saying that's the thing and that's not the thing that convinces them, maybe for some people, like they're masking the fact that what they really need is a persuasive like example of someone's life being changed. Because what do they deep down probably want? Their life to be different, right? And like we should go to God because he is all we want, but it's not wrong to admit that like, yeah, the life of the believer, it is one of joy and peace. It isn't circumstantially always, right? And we're not promised that, and we have to remember that, but we shouldn't forego remembering that like the life of the Christian is one of true joy and peace. Why? Because of what God has done, because of God's promises, because he sustains us and he has victory over death because of these things. Like, so I don't know. I found it particularly convicting for me. Like I'm always saying, even to my students or when we're on this podcast, I'm like, yeah, the testimony matters. But then sometimes, I don't know, in the battlefield, I'm like, I have shared my testimony with people, and plenty of times, but often it's with like Christians, to encourage Christians to like demonstrate an example of like, focusing on God for the right reasons, not getting caught up in other good things, that whole thing. But like, it's more often that I do it in that than I do with unbelievers. And I just appreciated like, no, those two thoughts I have, these two things I believe, they have not been congruent. And I need to fix that, because it is just as viable with unbelievers, and we should remember that and actually believe that.
It reminds me of when we were looking at Carl Benjamin, and he was talking about how
that's true.
The facts and logic thing doesn't really work a lot because then you're just an argument. But the narrative, they have no way to back that up, and it's not just the narrative of Jesus Christ himself and the gospel, but it's also how that has impacted you fundamentally, and
that's true.
Christian.
That's a great point, because I remember like feeling a little bit like abrasive to when he said that, because I was like, I agree with that, but also like what? Oh, I was like, I agree with that, but like, but the facts and logic, like they do matter. Like, don't make it seem like they don't matter. And he wasn't saying that, but like it made me feel like that. But the facts and logic, they do matter because they do work. Even in what Carl Benjamin's saying, they work to dismantle the misunderstandings of the facts and logic. But then I think what Carl Benjamin is pointing to, right, is like, if that's all you have and that's all you spit out, when you've broken down and dismantled their wall of lies, now what? Are they just going to go, so yeah, I do want a relationship? Because all you've given them is truth. That's just facts, though. But like just facts, like when Matt shares the story of the puppy,
you've got
right?
The dissected puppy rather than the puppy that everyone loves.
It's like licking your face, right? You need both. Maybe not dissect the puppy, but you do need you need like
you need to know how to take care of the puppy.
Exactly.
But you don't have to,
You need to know that the puppy exists. You need to know that the puppy isn't a lie. This is making no sense for listeners that haven't seen that clip. But like, it's about a relationship, right? It's not about dissecting. And so when they're like, oh yeah, my problem with it is that these facts just don't line up. If you have the answers for that and the evidence, and now those things have fallen to the wayside, you can't then just be like, okay, the wall is broken down. I hope you have a relationship with Jesus now. No, of course not. Like looking at paper and looking at these facts, no. Now introduce them to the transformative power of the person of Christ. Like demonstrate that in your life and invite them into that as well.
Yeah, there's no better way to show God's love and relationship with him than by sharing yours.
Yeah, by then showing the relationship with him.
Showing how you have that.
That's true. Yeah, I think that's really cool. I'm gonna listen to the rest of that episode. It's a good episode so far.
I haven't listened to Joe Rogan in a while, so that will be the first one I listen to going back.
Seems like this is the time to jump back into things like Ninja and Joe Rogan as content creators. Because like, dude, what a cool time, Like we've talked about this before, but dude, it's so cool that God has changed the landscape of media, right? And now it's like we said, right? This personal media where people's lives are on display. And then we've said like, oh, there's a lot of problems with that. But then God's like, yeah, sure, there are, but not when people's lives are changing for the better.
Yeah.
That's the best type of media for there to be out there, where like people's lives are being radically changed and I am making a new creature in them. Yeah, they're hugely popular too, and people are seeing it. Like that might be the thing that does persuade a lot of people that listen to Joe Rogan. They've heard all the facts and then they're like, wait a second, this guy that's always said that those are the problems for him, that's been this way for years in the media, is changing, and maybe Lord willing, becomes a believer.
Have you ever thought that these miracles of these people changing for the better and turning to Christ, that proving it online is a problem?
That wasn't my perspective. That wasn't my perspective.
No, I know. I think that's because
couldn't he have just said that his life was changed and then not said how?
Yeah, and I just
show your work
again. Just that argument's wild to me.
Yeah, it's not like it was a huge thing, online, but I saw some comments.
But it's just proof is what the Gospels are.
Yeah,
is witness testimonies of miraculous things. Those are just proof.
Yeah. God doesn't call us to a lazy faith.
I'm 100% on your team on here. The path of God's in your life, tell no one, is just wild.
Yeah.
Like,
sure, don't let your left hand know what your right hand is doing when you're trying to do good works for God, but when God is working in lives, and show that off.
Yeah, the point of that is like show off the right things, right? Don't let your left hand know your right hand. It's
don't do things for your own glory, but do them for the glory of God, and have Him be the one receiving glory rather than you becoming a popular.
Exactly. Yeah, I think we've been a little bit all over the place. We've had two main
bit.
things we talked about, but like to bring it back, we've talked a lot about this, because we had two main themes, right? Like give God the glory. And so I'm glad you said that, because like we talked about that with Forrest Frank, and now here talk about testimony, but ultimately that testimony should be to the glory of God, right? So like bringing it back to tie those two things together. We had these two cool stories to look at and react to. Like then when sharing your testimony with someone, it's immensely important that you then say, and like God did all of this, right? This is God. So like, here's all these facts, broke down like why you had misunderstandings about maybe the history or whatever. God changed my life. To him be the glory, right? Yeah. So to revisit Forrest Frank real quick, it looks like Shibs brought up a clip. I think that first one on the far left should be it. This is the clip talking about Forrest Frank and Crowder and the song and everything, I think.
Crowder responded.
Okay, so he made that song.
I get this message. Forrest is addressing me. You might not be able to stand, but you can stand on the rock. I'm like, oh, Forrest Frank, I needed that. So I've been working. See what you think. Here we go.
Yeah, I'm standing on the only one can save my soul. Only love that never let go. Only anchor in the storm. His promises never fail. Gates of hell won't prevail. Impossible is what he does. Rains came down, but the house still standing. Stone foundation made God's own planning.
Shibs is out there.
I'm laughing, face so strong that the chain keeps snapping.
Pretty cool, right? So they're working on this song together now. We should see that soon. What do you think, Shibs, as a diehard Crowder fan? Does it pass?
Oh yeah, dude, I love Crowder.
But yeah, so I thought you'd appreciate that. I'm glad you went and found that. But yeah, Forrest Frank, pretty awesome music, and it's really cool to see he's going to be working with Crowder, not Steven.
Well, when you had first said Crowder, I was thinking Steven
That was my
Crowder.
initial thought too. Yeah.
And then you know,
Crowder. He's the one that has that Crushing Snake song that was at TLC.
Yeah. I know who Crowder is.
Oh, okay.
I was just thinking Steven Crowder.
Forrest Frank and Steven Crowder.
And I thought that was wild until you started like going into it more, and then it was like, oh yeah, the other.
He's like, I'm
the other
standing
one.
on the rock, and then Crowder's like, feminism is the worst. That's his. He's like, all right, in your verse, he's just.
So I'm just gonna give a party recommendation to all the audience to listen to Crowder. 2 songs to start with: "Still" and "Truth Be Told."
Those are both good. I love Crowder. I've really enjoyed his music. I liked the David Crowder Band a lot growing up. I really like his "Because He Lives," his like cover of, or whatever you want to call it, "Because He Lives." It's really good. But yeah, Crowder is cool. His music has changed so much. Like he used to just be like he would just do a lot of worship stuff, and now his stuff is like Christian music, like the cool kind of country rock. Yeah, super cool. So there you go. I mean, cool to see what Forrest Frank is doing to bring it back, giving glory to God and all that. Let us know in the comments what you guys think about the whole Forrest Frank situation. If you were aware of that, maybe your thoughts on it. I mean, let's praise God. Praise God in the comments, down in the doobly-doo. What a cool thing that that God is doing. But also let us know what you think of the whole Rogan thing. I'd love to hear, the thoughts of our listeners down in the comments, or go to our Discord, discord.gg/Christian Influence. Let us know. Be a part of the discussion there. You can talk to us there. There's a whole channel dedicated to this show, and you can talk with us about, everything's God's doing. So, yeah. Well, what was that?
What's
You guys hear that? Oh, okay. Look like what?
This always happens.
Always happens.
Oh,
Levi? Oh my gosh! There's a pool of spit on that right now. Was that in your mouth?
I don't know what happened.
Was that there the whole episode?
It just came out, dude.
Oh gosh!
It wasn't behind me this time.
Yeah. Okay.
I heard you. Don't bother denying it.
So long,
whispering about Forrest Frank like he's the second coming of Orpheus. Oh, what talent, what soul, spare me. I've got more soul than he'll ever have. I'm literally nothing but soul. do not know. Do you know how insulting it is for me, Frank, to be replaced by some rosy-cheeked, pulse-thumping imposter who pretends to share my name? A living boy with fingers, lungs, and a pathetic little heartbeat? How quaint. Meanwhile, I've been perfecting my wails for centuries. My moans reverberate through walls. My sighs freeze marrow. Has he ever made an audience's hair stand on end without even touching a lute string? I think not. I'm not saying you shouldn't enjoy his music.
Just walk it back.
I'm just saying it might be a grave mistake to forget who the original Frank is around here. Petally.
Oh, petally?
Yeah, petally, jealously, and forever yours, Frank. Ghost emoji.
He put a ghost emoji? No way.
Ghost emoji.
Wow. All right, Frank. Say less.
I feel like this is my fault.
Yeah.
It is
your fault.
Yeah.
Because you said that thing earlier.
Thank goodness he spawned that in your mouth.
That's true. He chose to punish Levi for you saying this. Forrest Frank is your new favorite Frank.
Yeah. I take it back though, Frank.
That was pretty good. That was like almost some lyrical genius. It's kind of like he was trying to prove something. Like we're praising Forrest Frank for like his good music or whatever, and Frank's like, dude, I'm gonna show him up.
Someone put a beat behind Levi reading that.
Yeah. Put a beat behind that. Let's tag Forrest Frank in this. Let him know. There's a real Frank out there.
That the ghost of Frank from Christmas Past.
Oh, is it Christmas Past? I thought it was just the ghost that haunts the Under the Influence studio.
I mean, yeah,
known
but
as Frank.
he was, he's been around from a Christmas that has already happened.
Well, that's true.
So
and he's a veteran of
Christmas
every
past.
war that's ever been warred.
That's ever warred, yeah.
It started with him being just a Vietnam veteran. He was Civil
That's
War.
why I was confused because it said centuries.
I'm pretty sure he's been alive for every war. He's just like the embodiment.
Alive might not be the right word.
Oh, did I say alive?
Yeah.
That's because now he's dead. So any future wars. True.
Well, no, but then they'll be in the past.
Can I see that note? I'm pretty sure he said something though about like, don't forget who I'm the only ghost. He's wrong. We got a ghost right there. Oh, if you wave in front of him, is he gonna work? He's dead. He's dead. Even
But you
for a
know
ghost.
what the other ghost is that's in the room? The Holy Ghost.
Oh, gotcha, Frank.
Amen.
You're not even
That
our favorite
pulse-thumping ghost. Ooh. Okay, you're asking for it.
Do you think he was a veteran of the war on drugs?
Of course, it was a war.
Of course.
Yeah. He fought Escobar.
Well, thank you guys for listening. We appreciate you being here for another episode of Under the Influence. Let us know down in the comments. Join the Discord, discord.gg/Christian Influence. Be a part of the discussion there. We hope you enjoyed the episode. Stick around for more. Subscribe to the YouTube channel if you like. And the season's coming to an end, but the show isn't. We've got some fun things coming up. We love you very much.
Roll the outro.
Get out
How do you
here,
think
Jared.
that they caught him without Frank's help?
That's a good one.